Okay, what's happening, everyone? I hope you are doing well. Welcome back to yet another client interview with another one of our amazing clients. Today, I'm joined by Saxon, who is a very unique client of ours who didn't even complete the foundational module, has still yet to complete it, but has still seen massive success from partaking in the program. And today, we're just going to unwrap his story in a bit more detail. So, Saxon. Great to have you here. Obviously, we've spoken in school and away from here as well. But for the people watching this right now, why don't you introduce who you are, who you serve, and the transformation you deliver?
Yeah, cool. So yeah, my name's Saxon. I own Cloud Media. We're from Australia. Pretty much we work with renovation tradies, home improvement businesses, and we just do Facebook ads, Facebook and Instagram ads, lead generation for them. So we get them leads, we help qualify the leads, and then we also help them with a bit of their sales process. That's pretty much all we do. In terms of, sorry, did you say you want like where we've gone from, like from where we're at now? Is that what you said? Sorry?
That would have been the next question, but yeah, you
Yeah.
can get you can get into that now as well.
Yeah, for sure. When I joined EasyGrow, I was at sitting around 10 grand a month, a little bit less, probably like Australian, probably around seven.
Yeah.
Um, and then just dive straight into the the first like few modules of the course. And honestly, I think I doubled my rev in the first like 2 months or so, something like that, just from reframing my mindset, to be honest with you.
Yeah, amazing. And just to give them some context, it's obviously been a full 6 months now, and that
Yeah.
that increase was like from your first month or two. Where's the
Yeah.
revenue? Where's the monthly revenue at now? So going from about 7K AUD to where it is now.
Yeah, okay. So we doubled in the first 2 months, which was awesome. And then honestly, from that double, everything I built from there was just like scalable as hell, right? Like, so then I just sat down. I actually moved overseas to Canada to live and work, but I was only working like 4 days a week, something like that, half days because I was just snowboarding a lot. But because of what I'd built before, I had a proven system with my Facebook ads, and I also had a really good client network with a few other businesses, like different tradie businesses, things like that. I was getting a lot of referrals and work coming through because I got heaps of testimonials as well. And now we're sitting at around just over 60 grand a month.
Yeah, amazing stuff, man. So
Yeah.
yeah, for people watching this, we're probably going to convert it to USD just so it makes sense on the site. So that's why if you see difference in numbers, that's not to
Yeah.
confuse you. So that's pretty much like 4K USD to 37K USD a month in 6 months, which is absolutely fantastic. And then in AUD, that sounds even more even more juicier, man. So yeah,
Yeah.
killer stuff. So Saxon, talk to me, man. Before you joined the program, feel free to share some context. How did things look in terms of the agency beyond the 7K revenue? Talk to me about,
Mm.
what you're struggling with and what caused you to actually join.
Yeah, cool. So I felt like I had a pretty good system. Everything was pretty well systemized. My client results was something I really wanted to improve, which I felt was what was holding me back from getting more clients as well. So that was a big part of why I like reached out and like booked a call. Um, and yeah, like things were doing like okay, but I probably only had like 12 clients, something like that or less, right? Now I joined the course because I wanted to land more clients, but I also really wanted to improve my service delivery, which is something you guys offer as well.
Nice.
And yeah, pretty much just joined the course and went through the mindset stuff. And the first three videos is what changed a lot for me, which was the offer and figuring out like who your clientele is and your niche and what they actually want and care about. And then also figuring out how to create bulletproof offers, which I kind of reverse engineered that for my clients, not just myself getting work,
Hmm.
but for my clients' ads, and rethought about everything there. And then just from those videos, I changed my landing page, I changed my approach, my style of my socials, my sales process, just everything to think about exactly what they're after, what they want. And from there, it was basically just like just super. It became really easy. Like sales
Yeah.
calls, my closing rate at the moment is 70% of all calls.
Wow.
Yeah, and pretty much just watched a lot of the service delivery videos that you guys have as well, like on Facebook ads. And the only way we're getting like the way we're getting clients is through paid Facebook ads. So we're spending like about 200 Australian a day, just
Nice.
pumping it out and scaling it up. And yeah, once I joined and like kind of reframed my mindset in that way to actually really want to get good results instead of just making money, started getting insane results for our clients, and then going out and getting testimonials with them, speaking to them, networking with them with other businesses, like I said, and then it just started flooding in like crazy. And
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, killer stuff, man. So before, obviously, you mentioned how the offer video in particular was a big game changer. How
Mm.
did your offer look before you joined the program, where your mindset wasn't really orientated around client results and more so, putting putting the cash in your pocket, which is fine as a business owner, but at the same time, the best way to do that is to make your clients more money than you, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. So my offer before, like I wanted to get good results for sure, but I feel like
Yep.
I wasn't like I was just like, yeah, of course you want good results, but I didn't feel like I really truly cared enough. Like I was kind of a little bit disassociating from the client results and the business. And then the offer, I actually introduced like offers for my own clients as well and like changed how their ads worked. But my own offer was I didn't really have any kind of offer. Like I didn't really know
Hmm.
what I was doing before. And then when I joined, I yeah, just changed up just what value I could bring to my clients so that I could explain that as well. We ran an offer as well that was like guaranteeing leads, which does really well. But to be honest with you, because of the results we're getting and just showing off the results, a lot of our clients come to us without even caring about the guarantee.
Yeah.
Like they don't even mention it or care about it, which is really good. But we obviously, even if we were offering the guarantee, we'd be hitting that anyway. It was like 15 to 30 plus leads in a month guaranteed. That was our offer. Um, but yeah, that's just joining. It just changed like everything we did because obviously leveraging testimonials in our paid ads as well made a huge difference because people would see those guys and be like, "Oh, I saw what you did for that bloke. I follow him on Instagram. Oh, can you do that for me? I trust it, and he's doing really well, and you're running his ads. So can you do it for me?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, sorted."
Easy.
And
Yeah.
it's easy. And a lot of these trades guys in Australia, like they definitely all follow each other as well on socials and they talk. So if you can do a good job for one, it definitely kind of just spreads amongst everyone.
Yeah. It's crazy because, and I'm sure like you're the perfect example of this, Saxon, where
Mm.
a lot of people, when they want to join programs like ours, they assume that the biggest thing that's going to be a game changer for them is that magic outreach method or that script or whatever it is. And,
Yeah.
we're the first to admit there are no magic words because there's a ton of
No.
different scripts that can work. It's actually the biggest thing that makes a difference is the foundational work you put in beforehand, which is
Yeah.
why the videos are so long. So on your end, you're the perfect example of this because, like, one, you haven't finished it, and
Yeah.
two, all you done, right, was you kept your acquisition the process the same, it sounds like, but the biggest thing that changed things was the foundational work in restructuring your offer, which has
Mm.
caused a massive effect in the agency.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Like I think before what I was looking at it and looking at everything and the way I approach things was like, what do I think looks nice or cool? And I was
Yeah,
also probably like a little bit hesitant to dive like so hard into my niche as well because I didn't know if I liked it. And then I just realized like I did a massive pros and cons from like the niche selection video as well, which was really helpful. And just figured out like this is what I like, this is what I'm really good at, and I can systemize and scale this. And then everything changed to speak exactly to what my client wants, not what I thought was good, and just really jump into that. And then just that's really a lot of the things that I changed was just like
yeah,
doing what they want, not what I want, and use the same scaling methods. And then it
yeah.
just flipped a switch.
That's it. And Saxon, something like that, to the people watching this right now, they'd probably be going, "Oh, that's so simple, though. You just, you're just, that can't be the thing that flipped it for you." But you'll
Mm,
know firsthand how much deep level of detail we go into in terms of doing that research and how important it is. And when you were
mm,
doing the exercises, it'd be great to hear your perspective on what was revealed to you because you probably thought before doing that you thought you had the killer offer, right? But then
mm.
when you went through the exercise you realized that, well, actually, what I'm offering is completely
Yeah,
different to what my market actually wants.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, like for example, our on our landing pages, it just said things like we get renovation businesses, amazing results, and all these things, blah blah blah. And my landing page wasn't converting very well. And then I basically just changed it to we get renovation businesses just like off the tools, double your rev, grow your
Yeah.
team. And they're just like, well, that's all they care about. They don't care about all the back end, like nerdy shit, right?
Yeah.
They care about what they're actually going to get. And that's a big thing about
Yep.
what Charlie says is like, what do they actually get out of this? What does your client actually want? Doesn't matter how you get there too much. So what do they actually want? And that's what you kind of have to speak to. And that was just like, yeah, wow, no shit. Like
Yeah.
obviously. And then yeah, that's like kind of what we did. Which it does sound really simple, but it takes a bit of time to kind of like see where you can change that and improve that and simplify that everywhere and start
Yeah.
speaking the language of your clients and getting inside their head. Um, and everything just seems pretty bulletproof from there. That's it's pretty
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah. How much more, like, and you touched on this briefly, but how much more easier was business once
Mm,
you done that additional level of foundational work required? Where again,
mm,
nobody wants to do the foundational work. I speak to clients all the time. Oh no, it's
yeah,
long, it's boring, it's whatever. It's what's gonna make you money.
mm.
Like Saxon, how much of a difference has it made from just doing those exercises in terms of the ease of running the business? Because now you're in a position where just from doing some extensive research, like you just said there, sales calls are easier, booking appointments are easier, getting results are easier because it's clear on what you're going to deliver and whatnot. Is
Yeah.
it like a night and day difference compared to what you were doing before?
Yeah, I'd say pretty much. Yeah, definitely a night and day difference. It is just crazy how like I used to look at a lot of like I always thought like mindset was important, right? But
Hmm.
going into this and seeing the way that like everything's broken down and just really simplified in like a scientific way as well was
Yeah,
really interesting. Like especially how Charlie talks about applying the scientific method to running ads. A big thing that helped with was like, it's easy to get emotionally invested and emotionally like involved if ads aren't working or things like that
yeah,
as well. And just like taking a step back and looking at just at the data, which Charlie says all the time, right? Just look at the data, look at what's working, what's not, and then iterate from that and just give it time. Time is the biggest thing as well. That was really important. I think that was pretty cool. And then yeah, like honestly, like where we're at before we joined, before watching all those mindset videos was just kind of felt like everything was pretty messy. And then after just getting that clarity, so everything's very just simple now. Like everything's
yeah.
automated. I only have like two VAs working for me, and it's just myself. We have like over 50 clients.
Whoa,
Uh,
that's
yeah, I used to think. I remember my dad used to say to me all the time when I first started, like 4+ years ago, whatever, or longer. He used to say to him, well, I could probably handle like 4 to 8 clients when I first started. I was like, I could probably handle that on my own. After that, I'd have to hire. Now we're at 50 clients and I handle them all by myself. And then the VAs just help with onboarding. So
yeah,
that's how systemized everything is because we found what works and we just scale it to the moon. Like Charlie says, just figure out what works and then scale it up if it's in
yeah,
KPI.
yeah. Amazing, man. And prior to like the program, were you tracking anything? Like, was there any KPIs or was it just like free falling?
Nah, I was pretty organized, like tracking a lot
Uh,
of things. I probably had systems set up that were like beyond what should have been for where I was at in my agency. It was just like the only thing holding me back really was just like the client results and
mhm.
then also attracting the clients as well. Like I felt like the churn rate was pretty high. Like what we actually use, which I would recommend for anyone in the agency space, is have you heard of Motion, the project manager app?
Uh,
Motion.
oh, I think I've heard of it. Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
not Notion, it's Motion. Pretty much it's an AI calendar that organizes your schedule. So you just feed tasks into Motion and it'll automatically with AI schedule your calendar to do like things depending on the priority and the timeline that it has to do. So every day I'll just feed things into my calendar every now and then, jump into my calendar and see exactly what I have to do. And then I can just work while I don't have to organize my day as well.
Mm,
Something that definitely helps scale because I feel like a lot of people struggle with like time management. Whereas for us, I just log in, check my calendar, do what's there, and then pretty much just focus on making sales and things like that too.
yeah. Killer stuff, man. I'm gonna check that out. Sounds interesting. Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
you meant Notion for a second, but this is like I'm just on it now, so yeah, that looks
Mm,
killer. Saxon, talk to me about fulfillment, the service delivery side of things. I know you said you go went over some of the service delivery videos as well. How did that
mm.
help with your fulfillment?
Yeah, cool. So a lot of the service delivery videos are really good for just like one onboarding, creating a systemized process for onboarding, which I really dialed in from the course. Like it was okay before, but really dialed it in now that we can get clients on within a few days, right? Hiring help for that. So obviously we have virtual assistants to help with onboarding because everything's a systemized process. And then with the rest of the service delivery, just like understanding how ads work, understanding what metrics to track, and then understanding how to actually get results is a big one. Like like having an offer and whether or not an offer is like for our clients, it can be discounts, it can be value adds, whatever, or it can just be pain points, which is
Yeah.
something that Uncle Jimmy in the course talks about a
Yeah,
lot.
shout to Uncle Jimmy.
Yeah, so Jimmy's mad. So I've asked him a lot of questions about service delivery, and he just breaks it down like with the lead forms, talking about how like your clients' ads, their leads, you want them to be set up basically sitting ready by the phone for their client to call them. Whereas before it used to be just be like, oh, submit your information and off you go. It's
Yeah.
all those parts of the process that once you dial it all in, it all starts to kind of snowball.
Yeah, amazing, man. And yeah, even something as small as like, right, you think you're doing the lead forms right, where they just submit the application and leave, but then you got the
Mm.
coaching call. Uncle Jimmy's like, well, who's gonna who's gonna call the leads? That just
Yeah,
makes a massive difference because it's like the speed to lead is immediately. You want to
yeah.
get to the leads as soon as possible when it drops, and I'm assuming that's been like a game changer for your clients.
Yeah, or a big thing that Uncle Jimmy's been saying as well is like you need to set expectations with clients as well. Like
Yep.
if you're a lead gen agency, you're a lead gen agency, your clients have to handle the sales. If they're quoting, if they're doing this, they're getting on to the clients and they're not closing, like you need to make it clear to them that that's their problem and you
Yep.
have your problem, which that helped for us as well a lot because we realized we're trying to fix too many things that we couldn't actually like control. So now what we actually do for clients as well, just to help them with the process, is we give them sales scripts and follow-up templates and things that we've kind of from the course, a lot of
Yep.
the golden follow-up rule,
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of that for our clients to give it to them to be like, take all of these resources and then you can just pump your sales. But realistically, that's on you guys.
Yeah.
We can handle the leads. And
Yeah.
that was like a massive mindset shift as well.
Yeah, and it's way better to position it like that way because like I've
Mm.
seen with other clients as well, it's like it's basically what you described, Saxon, where it's like, okay, I've got to solve lead problems and sales problems, and you're trying to do all these things and it is valuable, but at the same time it's not realistic to be able to do all those things until you
Yeah.
get to a really good level. And even when you do get to a good level, you're better off just focusing on what you're best at. So it's like if you don't have a proven sales process, how are
Yeah.
you, well, you're working with a client where the sales process is outside of your control. Like,
Yes.
what can you do? You're gonna get, it's out of your hands. So
Mm.
the expectation setting is super important and being able to focus on what you control. But more
Yeah.
importantly, when you do position yourself like, where you're only helping on one thing, when you do
Yeah.
assist in sales, the client even appreciates it even more because
Yeah.
you're coming from the place of this ain't your area, but guess what? You're going out of your way to try and help where you can.
Yeah, exactly. Like we say to our clients, we're like, okay, once we get the leads, we qualify the leads, that's our job
That's your
done.
job. Yeah.
But we're still going to give you a few tools to hold your hand, like in the process, right? Like we're going to give you all these things. So like you do this, this, and this. You have no excuses not to close jobs. But if you don't, that is something wrong with your side of things, of
Yeah.
course. Like obviously there's the qualification side, but yeah. And the reason that was like so important, like for us, is we realized like what was working, like why were some clients doing so well and some weren't. We realized that a lot of it wasn't actually us as well. It was the best performing clients were like the best in sales. So
Yeah.
then we started hammering that and we're like, shit, what we're doing works really well. Our clients just need to reframe their mindset and improve their sales. And we're
Yeah.
like, I was like, shit, that's so like simple as well. So
Yeah. I've had
yeah,
that with a couple of clients as well, man, where it's like they'd come onto the coaching calls and they'd say, "Oh no, my fulfillment's horrible and whatnot," and then I'd do some further digging. I'm like, well, why are you generating the leads? And they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm filling their calendars. They just can't close any." And it's like,
yeah,
well, are the leads qualified? It's like, yeah, yeah, we've nurtured them, graduated and whatnot. It's like, So, it's not your fault, it's the client's fault. And that
Yeah.
reframe's so powerful because you as an agency owner, you want to take accountability and whatnot, but it's like, dude, you can't take accountability for something you can't control.
Yeah, exactly. Like, especially if he's like that guy's like, if you're doing something that's working, but then because you have one client who can't close the jobs, you
Yeah.
then think you isn't working. Whereas if you applied that for like, if you scale that up for other clients, most of the other clients it'll work really well for. Whereas you might just throw that strategy in the bin because you thought that it was your fault when it wasn't.
Yeah.
So that makes a big difference too.
Exactly that, man. Exactly that. So, Saxon, talk to me about the agency structure. I know you briefly mentioned it. So, 50 clients, did you say?
Probably more, probably close to 60 maybe now.
Close to 60, which is amazing. Close to
Yeah.
60, yourself and two VAs.
Yeah.
Sweet. So the magic question is, and people will be wondering this, how on earth are you managing 60 clients with two VAs? And you told me this before we were recording,
Mm.
working half days, snowboarding, and you're about to travel Europe. And
Yeah.
you're working about 4 hours a day. So talk to me about
Yeah.
how that works.
Yeah, working 4 hours a day from a dining room table in the middle of a rental in the middle of Whistler in Canada. So, actually, right now I'm in a hotel, but yeah, honestly, like it's a great question. To be honest with you, I just feel like the way we run our ads is like so simplified and it's just so like effective that a lot of the time we can like what I get my VAs to do when we do our onboarding is we create a lot of backup creatives and different we have different like a folder of like a library of different things we can test. Um, Pretty much we just launch the ads and a lot of the time they just take off and run for ages and get really good quality leads.
Wow.
And when they do need to be tweaked, like I will honestly probably only check ads once, maybe twice a week, because that's how much time they need to actually start get through the learning process, etc., and build a bit of momentum. So then every morning on like a Monday or something, I just sit down and check all the ads, spend an hour going through them all. Most of them are looking sweet. I have a tracking progress like sheet that just says like, is the client happy? Are the ads doing well? And anyone whose ads we can see that like aren't doing too well, we'll make a few tweaks and then we'll just let them go and just build off what was working before. And to be honest, that's all we have to really do for client delivery. Everything the VAs are just for onboarding so that we can get new clients on fast. I spend most of my time doing sales calls. That's
Yeah.
pretty much, which is also very systemized. We have a bulletproof sales system. Like I said, I think my sales closing rate at the moment is about 70%. And that's definitely because a lot of them are referrals, but also the leads coming through. Most of them know my clients anyway, and they see our ads and it's what drags them in.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's kind of rinse and repeat at this stage.
Yeah. That's killer stuff. Killer stuff, man. And with regards to the sales side of things, how many calls you take in a day right now?
Um, yeah, good question. I think before I like, because now I've moved out of my rental. When I like for the first few months of this year, I think I was doing like up to there were some days I was doing like I would say at least 3 to 4 or 2 to 4 every day, like for a
Yeah.
week at least. And that's me like capping it out at that as well. Like
Yeah, yeah.
then like the next week was full by Wednesday. You know what I mean? Like I already had other people booking in. I know that when I took like Christmas off because I was traveling around, and as soon as I landed in the country and sat down to work, I had like 6 meetings a day, like back to back for like a week, and I was just pumping them out. So yeah, it was like a lot. It's more. It was. I have enough to be able to do like six a day, but I just choose not to because I don't want to get burnt out. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. And at the
Yeah.
moment, it's a full, and I have meetings booked for May when I get back already.
Yeah. Damn. Bloody hell. There we go. There we go. So in terms of goals, Saxon,
Mm.
it's you, two VAs, 50, 60, almost 60 clients, right? What would you say is the goal for 6 to 12 months time in terms of operations, team structure, clients? Like, where do you want to take this?
Yeah, well, my biggest thing is I just really want to continue keeping the quality and the consistency for the results that we're getting for our clients. So I want my clients to get the best results possible still, even if that means pushing aside new clients for a little bit, which means like when I get back, which will be in a few weeks, probably going to be jumping into hiring a media buyer or an accounts manager straight away to help me manage client ads because I think I'm at my max. I probably want to step away from that a little bit, like with the service delivery, let someone else who's probably even better than me at it to handle that, which Charlie talks about a lot in the course as well, is like you can be good at all these things, but you don't need to be like a nerd at each thing. There's other
Yeah.
people that are really good at that. So find someone to help me with that so then we can even better improve our results and then probably hire a sales closer as well. So then I can just oversee
Yeah.
everything happening in the business. And I think that would be enough to get us to 100 grand a month. Easy.
Yeah, killer stuff, man. And yeah, that's a great point you made where you mentioned that Charlie said you can be good at something, but you don't need to be great at it. Like your
Mm.
role as the CEO is to place people in, you know? And
Yeah.
it's kind of like I think every business owner is like a T-shaped entrepreneur where it's like you might be good at one single thing, but
Yeah.
then you're okay at these other things and you can start
Yeah.
to allocate people where necessary. So yeah, killer stuff. Um, Beyond the acquisition genesis, Saxon, and obviously the fulfillment, also the service delivery videos, is there anything else in the program that you really enjoyed? Like the support, coaching calls, like any other videos, anything else comes to mind?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, the AG videos, like the mindset videos, are just wild. Like I said, I'm not even finished all of them yet. Every time I go back to them, it just blows my mind. And like sometimes I'll be like at the gym listening to them, and I have to keep pause and rewind them to re-listen to what Charlie's saying because I'm just like, holy shit, like it's insane stuff, right? So that in itself, to be honest with you, I would almost say those videos in itself would make the course for me. I don't, if I didn't watch anything else in the course, I would
Yeah,
say it's 100% worth it. That's
yeah,
like, which is a wild thing to say, right? But everything else. So I watched the only other videos I watched is service delivery, which was really great insight. I watched a lot of the Facebook ads videos to try and do that for myself, but also reverse engineer it for my clients, which
nice.
has helped massively because then now instead of everything being like throw it at the wall, messy, it's kind of systemized. But then obviously having the community on school is pretty sick. So like any questions, we can just come in and throw them at the wall and then you'll reply, someone else will reply, some other people will reply. The time zone thing for me with the coaching calls, I'm usually on Uncle Jimmy's calls and
Yeah,
he actually breaks things down pretty heavily for a lot of people as well, which is awesome. And then honestly, like I've made a few mates, like a few people that we've linked up with that are from like my area that saw I was from
nice.
the area. Added me on Instagram, talk to them every now and then. We got a little WhatsApp group chat with a bunch of other Aussies from the
Yeah,
course, which is sick. So it's kind of like if you really want to jump, like really get into the networking side of it, like you can go crazy with it too, uh, which is a pretty cool side of it. So the community is pretty sick as well. There's a lot of really like hardworking, influential people in the course, I would say.
yeah. Love it, man. Love it. Saxon, when you say mindset, did you go through self-transcendence at all, or was it just have you touched that yet?
That's the second module, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that
No, I
you
haven't
have
touched
okay,
it.
so yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny because acquisition genesis, obviously Charlie goes into a lot of the mindset stuff and approach to business, but
yeah,
then self-transcendence is like full on mindset for you as
yeah,
an
true.
individual. So that's
Yeah,
gonna if you're getting value from acquisition genesis, that one's probably gonna go, send you to the moon.
yeah,
So yeah, that's funny, man. All right,
yeah. No,
love it. I wanted to staying on topic of mindset now that we're here. I wanted to
mm.
ask you, how does version one of you look compared to the version that I'm speaking to right now? So the version before you joined the program, like what identity shift did you need to make in order to succeed? And did you have any sort of limiting beliefs, bad habits? Like who did you have to become in order to achieve the success you have now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, I guess like the person like before I joined, I felt like I had a lot of systems and everything set up really well. The business like was pretty clean, but I felt like yeah, I was like stressed that like oh I'm not signing enough clients to be able to put on the clients that I might have been losing because my delivery might not have been as great, right? In terms of like limiting beliefs, I feel like I didn't want to, maybe I didn't believe in like selling myself sometimes or like
Mm-hmm.
really delving into the niche and the person I needed to be to build trust with the clients that I needed to get as well. Like talking like the clients or talking to them in a way that they understand. Being authentic was like a huge part of like the shift. Like instead of being a salesperson, I was just like genuine to my clients and just said, this is what we do. This is how we do it. And look, this is how it works. And being confident in that. And then and just say, like, if you want it, you can get it. Right. That was a big thing, just that authenticity. Like having that confidence in like knowing what you're doing is actually working. That was a
Yep.
huge because like it's easy to like get a bunch of results and then have one client that's not doing well and then just get in your head and get like emotional about it and be like,
Yep.
I don't know what I'm doing. Whereas when you look at things from a broad scope and you can then improve that client and then you realize that you are actually really good at what you do and then you can just scale that up. So I think like just realizing like that the self-confidence, the authenticity of actually genuinely caring, people can definitely see through that as well.
Yep.
Like they can see through the shit when you're just talking shit or if you're actually like you actually care. Um and then yeah, like honestly, man, I think those are the biggest ones.
Yep.
I don't know, like yeah, I think that's
Yep.
those are pretty much the biggest ones to be honest with you.
Yeah, love it, man. Those are major. And I love what you said about how just zooming out, basically, where it
Yeah.
feels like one bad client or one bad experience, it makes you question your whole sort of psyche. But actually, on the grand scheme of things, it's not that deep. And I'm sure you've
Mm.
seen it, Saxon, in the program where it's like, well, actually, you wouldn't have seen it because you're still in acquisition genesis. But it's like I think it's mentioned in AG. It will be mentioned in AG. But the way we sort of teach metrics, where it's like, on sales calls, we tell clients, right,
Mhm.
before reviewing data, wait until 30 sales calls. So
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
happens is, right, you can have like four no's in a row, and you start losing your mind.
Yeah.
And then if you have 30 and you zoom out, actually
Mm.
those four no's in a row, it's not that bad because your
Exactly.
conversion rate's crushing it. Same with your
Yeah.
loom metrics, your ad metrics. It's basically that principle of you're not going to be emotional. You're going to be data driven and you're going to zoom out.
Yeah. And that was actually something that I applied with my sales as well for my clients
Yeah.
was like, okay, we can get you leads like this, we can do these. And then we would say to them, like, how confident do you think you are to close the work you need to get to where you want to get to from what we can do for you? And they go, oh yeah, I'm confident in myself. And then I would say to them, like, well, how many jobs do you actually need to at least break even? And then what's profit after that? And like just looking at the data. And so then when we do our work, we can see like, okay, maybe it's not working here, maybe this is doing this here, but and our client might be like, oh, I didn't get a lead today. It's like, dude, you realize where we need to be. You only need one or two jobs maybe in a month and you are making more money than you did and probably
Yeah.
don't have a business. So then that's like that zooms them out as well. And like they just go, oh yeah, you're right, just trust the process. Right. So that like from that, I applied that with our clients, how we speak to them and our sales process as well. And it's made a huge difference too.
Yeah, it's crazy when you zoom out. Like you can go to the extreme limits of zooming out where it's like, let's just say you secure one client and you've yet to break even. How many times is that same client going to come back to you? And on
Yeah.
above that, what's the referral rate? Because if you're already getting business from referrals, how many more referrals is this new client going to send you? You
Yeah.
know, and
You're
and
right.
you can go one step further. Your ad's been seen by how many people? How many
Yeah.
people are going to circle back to you? So it's crazy what happens when you zoom out.
Yeah. Yeah. And another big thing that Charlie said is like if the money you're putting in, you're making money at the end, like is in KPI or close to KPI, then that's a scalable system. Like everything in the middle, like doesn't actually matter if from the start to the finish is like the finish line is in KPI, right? Like so, like with Facebook ads, that's something I improved as well. It was like, my landing page might be converting like 2%, but I'm getting leads way cheaper than before. And then I'm closing well and truly more clients. Like I'm closing like 70% of the leads coming through and I'm getting a bunch of leads, but my landing page is shit. But like
Yeah.
that's something I can fix if I want to, but I don't have to because still a scalable method. And that
Yeah.
was like really interesting. That was a really interesting point that I
Yeah.
was like, wow, true.
And that's a killer point to bring up because like you'll naturally always want everything to be perfect and whatnot. And you're thinking, well, maybe we should fix this, maybe we should fix that. It's like, well,
Yeah.
actually, you don't need to fix anything. It's really funny you mentioned that, Saxon, because I've got two examples. One from our mastermind last week where shout out if he's watching, if they're watching this, is Chris and Amrit, clients called Chris and Amrit. They have like they have a sales process, but it's not a traditional sales process. It's a bit of a two call close. Chris
Okay.
Chris thought it's broken, so he was asking us to fix it. But when we asked him for his conversion rate, it's at like 50%. So, so then we simply told
Yeah.
him. It was funny because
Don't change it.
Charlie made a joke saying, "Chris, shut up. Don't stop talking. Don't ask any questions.
Yeah.
When you're fine." So the reason I give that example
Yeah.
is because what you think is broken, you actually look at the data and the end goal is like you're converting at 50%. If
Yeah.
anything, you need to raise your price and keep doing what
Yeah.
you're doing. The other example from today on a much smaller scale in EasyGrow, a client called Omar, he came in doing DM sorcery. He wanted to he thought he had to change his intro message. Like he posted in the chat. We looked at his metrics. It's like, dude, you don't need to change a thing. You're sending just because one metric was out of KPI, he thought you had to
Yeah.
change everything. But then when we broke it down, it's like out of every 73 messages you're sending, you're getting a call.
Yeah.
So all you need to do is scale. So it comes back to what we just spoke about here. It's like
Yeah.
if the main thing's in KPI, there's no
Yeah.
need to polish every bit of the funnel.
Exactly right. Like I think I got to the point where like in February, I had my ads running and I was pumping money into ads. And to be honest with you, there was probably like a few weeks there where I didn't even look at my ads or my cost per lead because I could see bookings coming to my calendar. I was closing almost all of them and I was basically full, like with bookings. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't care what my cost per lead is or what's
Yeah.
happening because the money I'm spending, I'm making that back a shit ton, like
Yeah.
just by bookings. So that's like it's just crazy. What does Charlie call it? Is it a Polaris like
The
Polestar?
Polaris star, yeah. Yeah.
Polaris star. Yeah, that
Yeah.
that was something I was like, holy shit. Like I even speak to my clients about that. I say like, even if
Yeah.
you're not getting a shit ton of leads, if you get like 10 leads in a month instead of 30, but you're closing heaps of work, then that's a really good system. That's
Yeah.
like a
And
great system.
and it comes back to what you mentioned, was like just zoom out, just look what's going
Yes.
on at the end. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
actually, we're doing quite well. There's no need to mess around with these things. Like let's
The
just
mic.
keep doing what we're doing. So yeah, killer stuff. Um, Saxon, talk to me about how life is pretty much, because when you joined the call with Demola, which for people watching this, by the way, Saxon was on that call for 2 hours with no intention of buying until Demola ended up getting him through the line.
Yeah.
On the sales call, there's the infamous question of how
Mm,
would life change if, you managed to get to XYZ? So obviously you've been with us for 6 months now.
mm.
You've gone from 7K to 60K AUD, which is
Yeah.
very, very significant.
Yeah.
Um, and you would have told the Mola how life would be like if you'd cross whatever goal you set. So now I'm asking you, as we catch up, right?
Yeah.
How's life changed since that first sales call, man? What have you been doing?
Yeah. Fuck. That's actually a wild thing to think about because I haven't
Yeah.
even thought about that. So yeah, I battled with Demola for 2 hours because I was like, I'm like, dude, I don't know, like I gotta sit on it, I can't think about it. And he's like, what are you doing, man? Like, come on, just do it. You know it's gonna work. He's like, do you think it's gonna work? I'm like, yes. And he's like, then do it. Like, what are you waiting for? It was so honestly, I I credit my sales closing rate skyrocketing from that call. Demola
Wow.
taught me so much from that call. But a few things I said to him, like he said to me, like, why do you even want to scale your business? Like, what do you want from it? A few things I said to him was, I want to be able to travel a lot whenever I want to, because I love travel. I want to be able to enjoy like more hobbies and things that I like cars and shit like that. And I want to invest more in real estate. Like I didn't like I want to invest in real estate, buy property, do things like that, and start kind of spreading my money so it grows. Those are my things. Um, and that's so funny. I hadn't even thought about it, but actually, about 2 weeks ago, while I was sitting at a dining room table in Canada, about 14,000 or whatever kilometers away from my house, from back home, I actually bought a property, an investment property in.
Yeah.
I actually like so now I own a house, and I did that while I was overseas in Canada, working from a dining room table because of how hard I scaled, which was insane for me. Like I thought I didn't think I'd be able to buy a house for a long time. Now I bought an investment property from another country, which is pretty sick. So that was one thing that I did that came from this. Um, and then travel, obviously, I've been able to live, work, and travel. Like I said, snowboarding all the time. Now I'm about to go to Europe, travel around Europe for a few weeks while I'm working and earning a full-time wage, like obviously earning full-time income or more. Um, and then when I get home, I'm probably going to be able to do whatever else I want, like do the regular travel and things like
Yeah,
that. So I guess like yeah, that's pretty crazy to think about. Like the
yeah,
house thing was a big one for me. I thought I'd
yeah.
probably be able to buy a house for a few years or something like that. I'm only 23. So
Amazing.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty cool. That was a
yeah,
huge
killer.
accomplishment.
Yeah, I always love asking that question because it's like you just forget about the fact that you even asked it on the sales call, you know? And it's like
Yeah.
it's actually good to go back because like, oh, damn, like things I've
Mm.
done what I initially said. So, yeah,
Yeah,
man,
well,
great stuff. So yeah, you wanted to traveling to Europe, and you've obviously already traveled. You wanted property.
yeah.
You've got on your property. I know you
Mm,
touched on your hobbies. You said you like cars.
yeah.
When are you buying the Lambo, man? When you
Oh, dude, everyone that knows me knows I want a Lambo. So, but yeah, I don't know. When I get, obviously, I can't buy a car here. When I get home, man, I think I'm
You're
gonna
just
buy
sending it.
a Max. Yeah, maybe not a Lambo yet. I'll
Yeah.
wait till for a few years, but I don't know. Like maybe a Toyota Supra, one of the new ones, something like
Yeah.
that would be pretty cool.
Nice and humble. Go for the
Yeah,
Toyota.
a little bit more humble, nothing too flashy. But yeah, no, that would be sick. I
Uh,
mean, that's something I really like doing. Like I have a car back home that I take on track days and do fun things like that. And to be honest with you, the last 6 months of last year, I didn't do anything. Like I didn't do many hobbies. I didn't really spend my money doing anything. I was working 12 to 15-hour days, grinding my ass off.
hmm
Um, and then just to get to overseas because I didn't want to stress while I was overseas working the business. And then I did all that, sacrificed so much, and then got here, and then it just went crazy.
Yeah. There we go.
And so all that work I put in was worthwhile. So pretty wild. It was cool that I'll be able to go home and do the things that I want to do now.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it, man. There's music to my ears, and yeah, I always love asking that question because it's always I usually get the same answer where it's like, oh no, I'm still locked in, I'm still working, blah blah. It's the same boring answer, but no, I'm just and I tease clients about it because they're so locked in, and I'm
Yeah.
sure you're still locked in, but it's great to see that you've been able to do the things that you enjoy and reflect, you know, and it's amazing. And yeah, Saxa, just staying on this, like. How does it feel like to be in the position you're in, man? Because it's wild, right? It's in six
Mm,
months, you literally went from you're making about like 7K AUD.
mm,
Things aren't consistent, and like you said, something like a property investment, buying a
yeah.
property seems years away.
Yeah.
You've just boxed it off in 6 months, and you now have a life of freedom with a property in the bag and traveling
Yeah.
wherever you want. Like, just
Mm.
describe that feeling in a few words, man.
Honestly, it doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel real,
Yeah.
especially because I'm moving around so much. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to like make sense of it in my mind to be like, oh, like, because before I was very like, I wouldn't say stingy, but I was like, I can't go out, I can't do this, can't do that. And I kind of got in that mindset to grow to where I am. But now I'm like, if I go out for a nice dinner, I can afford that stuff. Or
I think you can afford a dinner. Yeah.
oh man, like that's a big thing that I want to do. Like, obviously, when I get home, is just actually have a look at the finances and see like what do I have, what I don't, because I know that I'm definitely doing better than I feel.
Yeah.
But it is crazy to know that like this is where I am now because like and it feels good because like all I really care about is when my clients are doing well and when that's what lights me up more than the money as well. And then when that happens, I know the money's going to come and then I'm not going to have to worry about things financially. Like if I want to go and do something, I can kind of just do it. And that's only because I'm putting in the effort by caring. And by caring for my clients and getting them results, I'm getting all these networking referrals and things like that from other
Yeah.
businesses and like other like coaching, like tradie coaching businesses I have partnerships with that just
Yeah.
refer work to me because they know it's going to help all their clients, things like that, which is to me, that's the best feeling.
Yeah.
Um, but the finances thing too is like it's pretty awesome to not feel stressed about that or like, feel like I'm having to dip into my savings to scale the business.
Yeah. Beautiful, man. Love it. Love it. So yeah, that's amazing. in terms of like as we sort of wrap up the interview, Saxon, there'll be two groups of people that watch this. The first of which are existing clients in EasyGrow, and the second
Hmm.
of which are people that have yet to join the program.
Mm,
Whatever reason, maybe they're not aware of it, maybe they're on the fence like you was, or
mm.
on a 2 hour call or whatever it is.
Yeah.
For current clients, man, what would you say to current clients in terms of the best pieces of advice you can give to succeed?
Mm. It would say I'd probably say by watching like the videos in AG, it's like really thinking about what it means, like a lot of the lessons mean in terms of just truly understanding what your client wants and what they're after and what makes them feel comfortable, and then also reverse engineering that for your results. So thinking about what your clients' leads actually want, what they care about, and then just improving from there. And then putting the money like I want to scale to 10K per month. I want to do this. Like put that aside and just think about how can I genuinely create the best product in the world? I want to be the best in the world at what I do. I want to be the person for that. Once you have that kind of mindset, you will do anything it takes to get there. Right. Like
Yeah.
I've watched that many hours of YouTube videos. I've asked so many people. It's also like if you're kind of like starting out slow as well, it's kind of putting your shame aside and just testing things and trying things and reaching out to people and talking to people. Networking referrals is amazing as well. Any of like the lead gen things in the course are amazing. That's probably my advice for the guys in the course now. It's just like don't micromanage it too much. Just be really hungry for it and you'll basically figure it out and just try different things as well. See what works and what doesn't. Don't get emotionally involved and caught up in it.
Yeah, love it. Well said, man. And then in terms of people that have yet to join the program, maybe they don't know what EasyGrow is. They saw one of Charlie's funky ads. Maybe they already had a call, but
Mm.
they just wanted to think about it. They got out of a 2 hour sparring session,
Yeah.
unlike who Demola ended up winning, thankfully, because now you have what you have.
He's a
Um,
lucky man.
yeah, 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 yeah. Almost as if you're speaking to yourself, Saxon, before
Mm.
you joined. Like, what would you tell people that have yet to join the program in terms of your experience working with us so far? Because again,
Yeah.
it's only been 6 months.
I would say like first things first is you can genuinely tell Charlie has tried like put in an insane amount of work to create a product that is insane, right? Like the level of depth that he goes into in understanding like client psychology and client acquisition, all those kind of things is it's not surface. Like I hate like to be honest with you, I hate a lot of gurus and courses and things like that. I never really did them at all. This is the second course I've only ever done. And that's because I don't like that stuff. But I can tell that in this course, he's had that mindset of he wants to have the best product in the world on the market. And I mean, it kind of does speak for itself that it is insane stuff. Like I feel like I could go back through it again and level up what I'm thinking, what I'm doing now, because I might have missed a few little things, right? That would be my first thing. The second thing is it won't work for you unless you actually want it to work. Like you have to be like that. That's the thing that worked for me is on the call with Demola. I was like, I don't know, but he said to me, he said, it's only going to work if you get in and do the work. And I was like, shit, well, I've spent the money now. I need to make this work. So I was so hungry to make it work that I refused to not let it work. Right. That's
Yeah.
how I thought. And unless you have that approach to it, it won't work for you. If you just watch the videos and go, "Oh, okay, that's cool, this, that, you won't, nothing will happen. You have to actually be so hungry and dedicated to make it work. And if you do, then there's no reason
Yeah.
why it does.
Saxon, that is just music to my ears because it's going to fit in perfectly with my famous outro that people who are watching this right now, they're going to click off the interview as they speak because they're probably they're tired of hearing it. So you're going to be in for a treat, man. But yeah, perfectly put, man. Perfectly put. Um, and yeah, man, we're going to mark this one as a part one because Saxon is flying to the moon, and again, he has not even completed the foundational module. So hopefully, in 6 to 12 months' time, when he crosses that 100K mark, he'll still have time for me to do a part two. So keep an eye out for that. Um, Before we wrap up, Saxon, where can they find you, man? If they wanted to keep up with what you're doing.
Probably on Instagram. Just hit me
Yep,
at Cloud Media, Cloud with a K. You can see that
sweet.
there. Just hit me up there. That's pretty much where you can find me.
Sweet man. I'm gonna put that in the description, guys. So be sure to pop Saxon follow, and then for any tradies, if you're watching this for whatever reason, you can check out Saxon there. Cheeky referral. All right, that's pretty much
Sure.
it for the client interview, guys. Hope you guys found this one valuable. Like I said, I'm gonna mark this as part one, and hopefully Saxon doesn't disappear. And hopefully he's not too busy down the line. But yeah. Hopefully you found this valuable. If you guys are watching this right now and you've yet to join the program and you're thinking of joining, um, and you want to get into the online business side of things, then be sure to take a look at our website and do your due diligence in terms of looking at all the other client interviews that we have. This is the 99th client interview that we've had. So you can check out the other 98s and you can check out all the results we've got and also check out Charlie's channel and all that good stuff. However, massive however inbound. If you are someone that's been fooled by like these gurus that Saxon hates, right? Where they'll sell you a lifestyle, they'll flash their fancy rented cars and their rented Rolexes, and they'll sell you a lifestyle where it's like you can get rich in 7 days or any of that garbage.
Mm,
I'm here to break your heart. This program is not for you. It's not a
mm,
get rich quick scheme. Unfortunately, it's not something where you can, take a magic pill and suddenly you're rich. Please don't book a call because we're only going to disappoint. If you do end up finding that magic pill that makes you rich in 7 days, please send it my way. I'll happily purchase it myself. But if you're willing to put in the hard work and do what needs to be done and follow a proven framework and go through a course that actually covers everything you need, just like
mm,
Saxon has, please do book in a call as we more than likely can help. And to top it off, it's really funny because a lot of you people watching this right now will look at Saxon and he mentioned how he works 4 hours, 4 hour days, 4 days a week, and he snowboards, he's traveling Europe and whatnot. I'm not sure if you caught what he said at the end, but last year he was working 16-hour days to do what he's
yes.
able to do now. And on top
Yeah.
of that, he followed everything that was said. So Saxon, I don't know if you wanted to add to that because I know you mentioned, your lifestyle's fantastic now, but I know
Mm.
for a fact because I've seen you in the program, you had to get put in the work to get to where you are now. It was an overnight thing.
Definitely not. Definitely not. No, that was like the biggest grind of my life, man.
Yeah,
Like I was in the office from like 8 a.m. till like 10 p.m. at night, like just working, barely taking breaks at all, just grinding my ass off just
yeah,
to get to here. Like that was my
yeah,
whole thing was like if I didn't do that, I would have probably had zero income, $0 to get overseas and then did all the work and now it's
yeah.
everything's nice and simplified.
There you go. So yeah, if you're willing to work, and earn the right to have those 4 hour work days and the 4 day weeks that Saxon has, then feel free to book a call as we can show you how to do just that. But yeah, hopefully you found this one valuable, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.